Welcome to my channel. In today's video, it's a gumbo cook-off collaboration you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. And so in today's video, I am hosting one of many cook-off challenges that I will be hosting each month on the second Monday. So make sure to check the playlist down below. I have a few friends that are joining in the first one, which we are kicking off as the Gumbo Challenge. Now, this gumbo cook-off can go any way. We have people doing their recipes and sharing their recipes for the first time. We have seasoned home cooks that have done gumbo before that are going to share their recipe with you. And you have those home cooks like myself who is going to throw in a little twist to this particular cook-off. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make sancocho. Now, sancocho is a stew, but many refer to this as the Puerto Rican gumbo, and I have to agree. Just like gumbo, there is no holds barred with how to put this dish together. You can make it with beef, you can make it with chicken, you can make it with ham, you can make it with seafood, sausage. However you want to make the sancocho is totally up to you. And today I'm going to make my Puerto Rican gumbo out of beef and ham. So the first thing that you want to do is brown your beef. I'm using beef chuck, the same meat that you would use to make beef stew. But you can use oxtail, you can use, like I said, the possibilities are endless. I'm gonna go ahead and season it. I'm not gonna add any oil to the pan only because I don't want my gumbo to be greasy. Don't worry though, I know that your traditional gumbo does need that fat so that you can have that thickening agent called the roux, right, that you will mix with flour. I'm going to show you the thickening agent I'm going to use, so the roux is not needed for this recipe. Now you can season the meat to your taste according to the herbs and spices that you like to use. I'm just gonna sprinkle some adobo, garlic powder, some sazon, and then I am going to give it a stir. I'm also gonna throw in some sofrito because you cannot have a good sancocho, that Puerto Rican gumbo, unless you're using that sofrito. And sofrito is basically somewhat like a mojo, I would say, equivalent to it, but it's basically where you take green peppers, red peppers, cilantro, sweet chili peppers, onions, and you just put it in the blender and it becomes great for seasoning sancochos, beans, rice, meats, and so much more. So you want to give this a quick stir. And so while the meat is browning, we're going to go ahead and we are going to prepare our veggies. So these are the veggies I'm going to use. This is a root vegetable called yame. I believe it's yam, but it's different from the regular yam that we use for Thanksgiving. This one is also a purple sweet potato. We call them batatas in Spanish. They are very sweet and it gives off a nice balance for that sweet and savory, that balance. And then we have yautía, which is another taro root, delicious for making these types of meals. They have the white yautía, which we call yautía blanca, or yautía lila, which is like a purplish, lavenderish hue that the vegetable will have. I'm using the yautía blanca. And then finally, I'm also going to use some yuca, which is cassava. Very good. But again, you can use any vegetables you want. You can add potatoes, carrots, whatever your heart's desire. You can go ahead and cook with that. This is what I have on hand, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm also going to take this ham steak and I'm going to also throw it into the pot. I'm going to cut them into chunks. First, I'm going to remove all of the fat, but I'm going to use the marrow that's there because it does give the sancocho some flavor. So once I chop all of this up, I'm going to incorporate it into my Puerto Rican gumbo, which I love to call sancocho. And we're going to put this together. This meal is starting to come together. Now you can use some bone broth. That's exactly what I'm going to use. I'm going to use chicken bone broth because that's what I have. You can use chicken stock, or you can use a bouillon of your choice. It can either be chicken, vegetable, beef. It's up to you. This is what I have, so I'm going to use it. It's going to be just as good. And so I'm also going to incorporate some water into this so that you can see how delicious this is. Once I add the water in, I'm going to add in some hot water just to make the cooking process a little bit faster. But once I add in the water, I'm going to turn the heat up and I'm going to bring it to a boil. And then I'm going to let it simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes until the root vegetables are soft and tender. And here I am adding those veggies in. So the sancocho is now ready to be thickened. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I usually like to use calabaza, but since I could not find the calabaza in my area, because in my area it's hard for me to find some of my ethnic products, so the pumpkin puree is going to work just as fine. And I'm also going to pull out some of the root vegetables out from the sancocho, which is going to help in thickening the this gumbo right up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start smashing or mashing the veggies, and I'm also gonna incorporate the pumpkin puree. This is what I'm using as my thickening agent, and you can use as much puree or as much veggies that you would like until you reach that level of consistency of the thickness in your sancocho or slash Puerto Rican gumbo. I'm gonna play around with it until I reach that consistency that I like. I'm almost there. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the veggies and add a little bit more of the pumpkin puree just so I can get it a little thicker. I like it a little more thick. Now that's just about right. This is coming out so good and it smells delicious. It looks a little boring, but believe me, once you start adding in some cilantro in here as well as some corn. Now this is the thing. Normally we would use corn on the cob and we would cut them up. However, I don't have corn on the cob. I had these canned corn and that's what I'm going to use because I was not going to run to the store just to get a corn on the cob. But this is what I'm going to add to it. And I'm also going to chop up some cilantro, some fresh cilantro, and I'm going to throw it in. And then we're going to mix it up. We're going to let that cilantro just sit in for about 1 to 3 minutes. And I'm ready to plate. I'm telling you, my friends, I need to hurry up and serve this up. Look at how good this looks. I love it. This is such a hearty meal, especially for these cold winter days. This will definitely hit the spot. I serve this up with some rice, and I also love to add in some slices of aguacate, which is avocado. And this is it. I'm gonna call this a day, because once I'm done eating this bowl, I am definitely going to want to take a nap. That's how good it is. A stick to your bone type of meal. Let me know your thoughts. Check the playlist out down below, and I will check you out in my next cook-off, guys. Bye.